When it comes to retirement, life doesn't always go according to plan. So today we're talking about how to prepare for the unexpected and navigate financial uncertainty with confidence. And joining us is Patrick Cotter, founder of Cotter Financial Group. Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you this morning?
I'm really good, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers at home can probably associate with this, or they certainly have questions about it. So how can retirees prepare for unforeseen financial challenges?
Well, it's actually not as difficult as people seem to make it to be. Number one is you have to be very proactive. You cannot be reactive and just let things come to you. You have to start with the end goal in sight. And you really need to ask yourself a question: what do I really want my retirement to look like? And you have to understand what the potential risks are when you're coming into retirement. And most retirements are derailed not because of a bad decision, but they're derailed because of a lack of a decision.
Right. So for those out there worried about outliving their savings, what kind of strategies do you recommend?
Okay, so number one is there are basically 5 major risks that everybody has coming into retirement. So the first thing that everybody has to do is they have to prioritize the importance of these risks. And these risks really quickly are longevity risk, market risk, inflation risk, legislative and tax risk, and healthcare and long-term care risk. So the first thing that everybody should be doing is, number one, is they should build an emergency fund. They need to have as close to 6 months of expenses as possible in very liquid, non-volatile assets, or preferably in cash. Number two is they need to create as much guaranteed lifetime income as they possibly can, and this is in coordination with Social Security and also a pension if they have it. And then, of course, you need to protect against a bad event with long-term care or a health event. And it's because of these things are really what derails retirements.
Yeah, there's lots of things to consider when planning for the next step in our lives after we finish work. But for your point of view, what is the number one question retirees should be asking themselves when they're planning for the future?
Great question. The first thing they should ask themselves is actually, do I actually have a plan? Have I sat down with a specialist? Because this is very hard to do it yourself. And then if they have a plan, which I hope everybody does or is starting to think about one, is my plan flexible enough to handle a bad life event, such as the death of a spouse, market declines, maybe inflation rises, taxes go up, maybe somebody in your family gets sick, or the cost of health care goes up. So as you can see from what I mentioned before, if you've done the right steps, you can prevent or at least mitigate a lot of these risks to help yourself live the best retirement that you can possibly live.
Right. In a similar vein, from your expertise, what are some common mistakes you see retirees make when it comes to preparing for the unexpected?
Probably the biggest mistake is assuming that Medicare is going to cover all my medical expenses and Social Security is going to be enough to cover all my income needs. Bar none, the biggest mistakes that I see when I'm holding my educational workshops and just talking with people in general, they have that misconception that those two things, that the government's going to take care of them. And it's far from the truth.
Yeah, and another thing that seems kind of obvious, but when should someone consider working with a financial professional to help plan for all these unexpected uncertainties?
Okay, great question. There's what we call the retirement red zone, and that's typically 5 to 10 years before retirement, and then 5 to 10 years after retirement. My recommendation is to start working with somebody at the beginning of the red zone, which is, if you're planning on retiring at 65, start talking to people at 55 to 60 and really start thinking in your mind, what do I want my retirement to look like?
Yeah, Patrick, we really appreciate your time this morning, and I guarantee there are people out there watching right now who have benefited from this. So thank you and have a great day.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
It's our pleasure. For more information or to connect with Patrick Cotter and his team, visit CotterFinancialGroup.com or call them on 954-617-8107.